Right, so I thought it'd also be a good idea to talk through my fueling strategy for a race day. Now I've played with this quite a bit and developed my strategy based on what I've been doing in training. Also, in my study previously, I've done some postgraduate study in sports and exercise nutrition a few years back, and basically from any other advice I got from nutritionists and stuff over the years. But what I'm going to go with is I'm going to aim to consume roughly around 75 grams of carbohydrates an hour, and that will equate to roughly maybe 3 of these or 2 of these and 1 of these, or maybe 1 of these and 1 of these, so, or 2 of these and 1.5 of these, or whatever. So because carbohydrates are going to be the fuel source that I'm going to be burning during the race predominantly, although we're going to be switching between, no doubt, switching between fat and carbohydrates throughout. But what I've been doing over the last few days is increasing my carbohydrate content or intake, in my diet in order to increase the amount of stored glycogen in my muscles, which means that come tomorrow I should be fully topped up on glycogen, which is then broken down to be used as energy, or there to be broken down to be used as energy come race day. I've also been topping up on nitrates. I've been using these shots. These are nitrate loading shots. You get about 500 milligrams of nitrates in here, and what nitrates are, they act as vasodilators, which means they open up arteries for increased blood flow, essentially. So you can think about kind of like the some of the sprays that people like the glycerin trinitrate, the spray that people use for angina. It's the exact same reason. Open up the arteries, get some more blood flow to the tissues that need it. But these, if you load up on these, and it's recommended that you load about 1 gram a day for 3 days or 3.5 days before a race, and I've done that. I have been also having beetroot juice within my preparation, which is high in nitrates. Previously as well throughout my training, but this week I've started to load up, so hopefully that gives me an extra boost in terms of blood flow tomorrow. The next thing that's important is caffeine. Now, caffeine is a bit of a wonder drug. It can make you more mentally sharp. It can give you perceived energy. Also, it can help with, so it does help with endurance performance. Also helps with pain tolerance. So caffeine is going to be used sporadically throughout my Ironman, depending on how my stomach's doing and how I'm feeling. But I'm going to aim to probably take on maybe 1 of these, maybe even 2. Every couple of hours or every few hours, maybe, seeing on how I'm feeling. But I've got enough with me to take them on. I certainly have a coffee pre-race as well. But caffeine, I've used caffeine in my training, I'm used to it, and I'll use it in the race as well. It's going to be a very useful friend to have. In all of my drinks, certainly the 2.5 litres of fuel, which is this stuff, which I'm going to have on me on the bike, the 700 to 800 ml that I have in transition 1, and the 500 that I'm going to have in transition 2. There's going to be electrolyte tablets in there. Now the bigger bottles, I'm going to put 2 of them in, and it equates to what we got in here. Yeah, so we've got around 250 milligrams of sodium in each serving. So we're getting a decent amount of sodium in there. Last thing I want to be doing as I'm going around on the race is cramping up. And so when I'm sweating, I'm going to be losing water and electrolytes, so I need to replace water and electrolytes, and obviously, like I said, carbohydrates as well for energy, so I'll be doing that. And then finally, I've got another thing to say actually. I've got some solids that I'll be taking on in transition 1 and transition 2, just to give me a bit of variety, I'm aiming for around 10.5 hours. It could go longer. So it could go much longer depending on how it goes. But it's a good idea to have some fuel or some solids with you, because just having liquids all day, it's not ideal on the stomach, especially kind of really sugary liquids. The stomach can get really quite upset with it after a while. Although mine's been fine in training. But it's good to have the variety. I haven't gone this long. I haven't done the full distance back to back, so going to have some solids on me. Also, as well, throughout my preparation, I've been supplementing on creatine and beta aniline. So beta aniline is a amino acid. That is a non-essential amino acid, but it helps the body to produce a product called carnosine, which is then stored in the muscles, which helps then the muscles to buffer lactate whilst doing exercise. So that, and with the way, because it's buffering lactate during exercise, you don't build up as much fatigue. Don't get tired quite as quickly, don't feel the burn in the muscles quite as quickly, because lactate's not accumulating in the muscles. So we've had that as part of my training. It's in my body, it's circulating around now. We'll be topping it up again today, ready for race day. And also creatine. Creatine's a well-used sport and exercise supplement that's in there. The benefits of creatine are vast, but certainly, as very beneficial for me as I was losing body fat, trying to control, bring my weight down, but also to hold on to muscle mass. Creatine was very beneficial. Creatine essentially is stored in the muscles as phosphocreatine. And it helps to produce energy fast, but also has some crossover in endurance performance. It's very, very useful for strength gains and stuff like that. So a lot of the benefits from the creatine would have came throughout my training, but it's going to be useful when I need to drop the hammer either on the climb or on a flat. That creatine system, phosphocreatine system, may kick in at that point. So it's good to have it in my muscles. I would say it's nice and topped up. I've been loading 3 to 5 grams a day now, pretty much throughout my preparation. I've been taking it. Obviously, every time you exercise, you use some, so you've got to top it back up. But I'll top some back up today, and I should be good to go. I think that's it really for the nutrition. Obviously, probably another couple of things. I've got some ibuprofen with me and some paracetamol that I may need to take if I'm particularly in rag order. But the final thing is, it's just, I know it's going to get tough out there. So it's important to have this stuff in place. I know what I'm doing with it. It's fine. I've got a strategy. I'm just going to need to be disciplined, making sure that I'm consuming enough, I would say, because the last thing I want to do is get behind on my fueling when I'm out there, and you're just not playing catch up. This is what this is quite useful for. It sits on the front of the bike, like a straw. I can sit in the aero position and get some calories down me and some electrolytes and some water. which is awesome. But yeah, that's it. That is my fueling strategy for the race. We'll see if it pays off. I think we're in good shape. Yeah. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content about the nutrition for race day, give this video a like. Why not subscribe to the channel also, and maybe leave a comment in the comment section regarding what you do with your race fueling, or if you have any tips or strategies that have served you well in the past, because I'd love to hear them.